We're now going to record Daf Tzadik Zayin, part 2. We're at the bottom of Tzadik Zayin Amid Aleph. Amar of Chana, Amar of Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. So Amar of Chana, Amar of Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, B'chayiv HaYirabi Shtayim. We talked about somebody throwing Mershus HaRabim to Mershus HaRabim derech Mershus HaYachid, and Rabbi said you were Chayiv. So Shmuel said that you're Chayiv according to Rabbi twice. Achas Mishum Haitzah, V'achas Mishum Achnasa. When your object flew through the Rishus HaYachid, first it went Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYachid, that's Achnasa. Then it went Rishus HaYachid out to Rishus HaRabim, and that's a Haitzah, so you're Chayiv for both. So the Gemara asks, remember, do you mean to say the Mechayiv Rebbe had told it b'makamav? Is Rebbe going to be Mechayiv you for Achnasa if you're also doing a Haitzah? Well, Tanya, we learned in a Braisa, Rebbe says, when it says Dvorim, that's plural, that's two. The extra A of Ha-Dvorim makes three. Eila is B'Gematria 36. So Eila Advorim 36 and 3 is Eilu Shloishim V'Teisha Malocha Shnemer L'Moshe Messina. You can be Chayiv 39 Chatois. Evidently, Rebbe holds you can't be Chayiv on a Tolda B'Makamav, because if you do 39 Avos, that's the maximum you can be Chayiv. So if you're not Chayiv for a Tolda B'Makamav, Rebbe could not have said that if you throw something Mershus Harabim, Mershus Harabim, Derech Rishus HaYachid, you're going to be Chayiv for Hachnosa and for Haitzah, because it stopped the middle of the Rishus HaYachid. But you can't be Chayiv for Hachnosa b'makam haitzah, because you're not chayv in a tolda b'makamav. Amalei Rav Yosef, so Rav Yosef says, Mar ahomas nila. So you said it. You said Shmuel's statement, mechayiv shtayim is referring to Rebbe. So you're wrong. Rebbe could not say mechayiv shtayim because Rebbe is not mechayiv for tolda b'makamav. But anan ad Rav Yehuda masninan. I have a different place where to put Shmuel's halacha that you're mechayiv shtayim on a different story. In the end, this is not going to work, but it's going to take a while. But like Hashalan, I have no problem. I can show you Rabbi Yehuda who holds you chayiv on tolda b'makamav. The story is as follows. The Tanya we learned in a Braisa, Mershus HaYachid l'Rishus HaRabim v'over arba amas b'Rishus HaRabim. If you throw Mershus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim, but then it continues to go 4 amas into the Rishus HaRabim, Rabbi Yehuda says you're chayiv, and the Chachamim say poiter and you poiter. To this, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. To this Shmuel said, Mechayiv hoy Rabbi Yehuda Shtayim, Rabbi Yehuda is Mechayiv you two. Achas Mishum Haitzah, one because you threw it Mershus HaYachid into Rishus HaRabim, and since he holds Kluta, you Chayiv the moment it goes right out of the Rishus HaYachid into Rishus HaRabim, and then when it continues for another Arba Amas, you're Chayiv for being Maver, Arba Amas B'Rishus HaRabim. And that's pshat in the and this is pshat in Rabbi Yehuda, but the Chachamim don't hold of Kluta, so they hold you're only Chayiv one, you're only Chayiv for Haitzah. Because these al kedatach, if it would enter your mind, chadu de mechayiv, the Rabbi Yehuda held chayiv means you only chayiv for hitzah, michal de rabbanan patri legamri, and the rabbanan who say patrim hold your patri completely. Ha'apik la mershus hayachid l'rishus harabim, but you did carry out from mershus hayachid to rishus harabim. So that's impossible. The Gemara says, "Be mine." I don't think you're right. Lo'ilam dilma lo'ilam eimalach. Rabbi Yehuda chadu mechayiv. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda is only mechayiv one, and Rabbi Yehuda does not hold of tolda b'makamav. He's not mechayiv shtayim. The Rabbanan patri legamri, the Rabbanan patri completely. What's the case? If the man who threw it, Rishus HaYachid l'Rishus HaRabim, said, Ad nafkale l'Rishus HaRabim tanuach, I want it to drop immediately when it goes into the Rishus HaRabim. The argument is, Rabbi Yehuda suffer mina kluta kamishuncha. Rabbi Yehuda says the moment it goes to the Rishus HaRabim and it's considered having stopped, so you were mighty Rishus HaYachid l'Rishus HaRabim ayidei zrika. But that's it. What you wanted to do is done, and you're not chayiv anymore, because you're not chayiv on ma'aver if you're going to be chayiv for hitzah. Rabbanan Savri, the Rabbanan hold loim rein kluta k'mishancha. The Rabbanan hold we don't say kluta k'mishancha, and since he wanted it to land right outside the Rishus HaYachid, v'lo yisavid alei machshavtoi, and what he wanted wasn't done because it landed much further away. So therefore, the Rabbanan hold your poter legamri. Avla told the b'makamav loim chayiv Rabbi Yehuda. But Rabbi Yehuda was never mechayiv told the b'makamav. Rabbi Yehuda here was mechayiv you only for throwing it Rishus HaYachid l'Rishus HaRabim, but that's it. So I have no idea who's mechayiv shtayim. Again, it can't be Rebbe when you threw Rishus HaRabim l'Rishus HaRabim derech Rishus HaYachid, because Rebbe for sure is not mechayiv told the b'makamav. And even Rabbi Yehuda who said when you threw Rishus HaYachid l'Rishus HaRabim and it went another arba amas, you're chayiv. I still think he only means one, because he's not mechayiv you for told the b'makamav. The Gemara tries to fight back and say, Loisal Kadato, don't you tell me that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold your chayiv for tolda b'makamav. Don't tell me that. The Tanya we learned on a Braisa, Rabbi Yehuda Maisif Af Hashayvet. Rabbi Yehuda says there's a malacha when you have like a pole that has prongs and the prongs separate the threads on the loom one from another. That's a malacha. V'amedagdek, and also if you beat the threads that are going across the loom, and you beat them in order to bunch them together so that the fabric is tighter. That's another malacha. Amrullah, so the Chum said, well, shayvit, separating the threads one from another, hareu b'chal mesach. That's part of the av malacha of making the threads that go across the loom in the first place. And medagdek, and pushing the threads of weaving together, hareu b'chal orig, that's part of weaving itself. This is my love. Are we not speaking of dinu l'tarvai b'adi adadi? Are we not speaking that a person did mesach and he also separated the threads? Or a person was weaving and he also pushed the threads of the weaving to be tighter together. And the Chachamim said that you're only chayiv one. Ushma mina mechayiv hayir Rabbi Yehuda told him b'makamav. And Rabbi Yehuda says you're chayiv for shayvit and medagdik. Aha, so Rabbi Yehuda is mechayiv for told him b'makamav. So he's mechayiv and told him b'makamav. Perhaps that's pshat mechayiv hayir shtayim. Where you threw something rishus hayochel rishus harabim and it went an additional arba amis. If you hold of kluta, you're chayiv for itzah rishus hayochel rishus harabim the moment it went out the window, and then you're chayiv for another arba amis as it continued to go for another arba amis. The Gemara says, please. It's not speaking where there was a tolda b'makamav. For Rabbi Yehuda tolda b'makamav loy mechayiv, and Rabbi Yehuda is not mechayiv for tolda b'makamav. The b'akamifli, the machlokes is Rabbi Yehuda savar hani oves nenu. Rabbi Yehuda holds that shayvit, separating the threads on the loom, is another av malacha, and medagdik, pushing the threads of weaving together, is another av malacha. Rabbana savar hani told us nenu. The Rabbana hold that it's told us. And Teida, I want to prove to you that's pshat. Because the Ktani, the Brisa says, Rabbi Yehuda Moisif, Rabbi Yehuda is adding. What does adding mean? Yamad Bishleim Avais, my Moisif Avais. Where we thought there's 39 Avais Malachais, Rabbi Yehuda said there's another two. There's Shayvit and Medagdik. That's called Moisif. Eli Yamra told us, if it's told us, my Moisif, where's the Moisif? So Elamai, so Itmar Nami, it was said, Rabbi Rav Yosef Damri Tarvayu, Rabbi Rav Yosef will say, Lechi of Rabbi Yehuda Ela Achas, you only chayiv one. So we're stuck. Rabbi Yehuda, when he said that the shayvit and medagdik, those are two new avos, he never said that you were chayiv for shayvit in case you were doing mesach, and he never said you were chayiv medagdik when you're doing oiri, because he's not mechayiv told the b'makamav. So I struck out. I'm 0 for 2. When Rebbe, in the beginning of the sugya, said when you threw something b'shus harab l'shus harab derech b'shus hayachid, and he said you're chayiv for kluta. So Shmuel said you're chayiv shtayim, but that's impossible because you can't be chayiv for itzah and achnasa because achnasa is a told of itzah. And Rebbe clearly holds you're not chayiv for told of b'makamav. And then we tried Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said if you threw something b'shus hayochel l'shus harabim and it went an additional arbamas b'shus harabim, maybe that's where he said chayiv shtayim. You're chayiv for itzah b'shus hayochel l'shus harabim and you're chayiv for marva arbamas because right when it came outside the window of the shus harabim there was kluta and you're chayiv too. Because it's not true. Maybe you only chayiv one. Because Rabbi Yehuda does not hold you chayiv told b'makamav. And normally people don't hold told b'makamav. Rabbi Yehuda said that there's a malach of mesach, there's a malach of medagdik. He meant that mesach and medagdik are two of his malachas. Amalei Ravina Ravashi, so Ravina says to Ravashi, L'may desalik adata mikora. But our havamina was that when Rabbi Yehuda said when you threw something b'shus hayochel l'shus harabim and it went an additional arba amas, you were chayiv shtayim. The mechayiv hayir Rabbi Yehuda shtayim. But I don't understand why you chayiv shtayim. Ilacha kabayla, lacha like kabayla. Ilacha kabayla, lacha like kabayla. Where do you want the anocha to be? If he wanted the anocha to be out the window, then he didn't want the anocha to be at the end of the arba amas, so he shouldn't be chayiv for that. If he wanted the anocha to be at the end of arba amas, you shouldn't be chayiv for the akira from right outside the window, because if you never wanted it to land there, it can't be called an akira. Amar Lezer, Ravashi answered, Ba'aimer, kol mukam shetirtza tanuach. If he said, I don't care where it lands. No, if you don't care, then it could land once right outside the window for which you'll have itzah, and then it'll land again at the end of arba amas, for which you'll have marva arba amas b'shus harabim. Zukmar, it's pshita, it's obvious. Nischavn, it's obvious. The Gemara is going to disprove it, but for now it's obvious. Pshita, nischavn, lizrak, shmein, v'zorak, arba, reikosev, shem, mishimon. If somebody wanted to throw something 8 amas and he threw it 4, that's like somebody wanted to write the name Shimon and he wrote Shin Mem. So you're chayiv even if you do a part. But what if nischavn, lizrak, arba, v'zorak, shmein, ma'u? If you wanted to throw 4 and in the end it flew to 8. Miyamrin and hapikle. If lemaisa he threw it 4 and more, right? So Idilmar maybe but he wanted it to land at 4 and not at 8. The Gemara destroys the whole thing. Didn't Ravina say to Ravashi, how is it possible that Rabbi Yehuda should have been Mechayev Shtayim. Did he want it to land right outside the window, or did he want it to land at the end of Arba Amas? Ba'amalei Rav Ashi answered, Ba'aymer kol mokem shetirtza tanuach. I don't care where it lands. Oh, if you don't care where it lands, then it's possible to be Chayev Bain outside the window and Bain at the end of Arba Amas. In the end, that wasn't Pshat, but it was good for Havamina. So what do you see? That if it doesn't land where you want it to land, you're not chayiv. It doesn't matter whether you wanted to land out the window and it landed further away, or you wanted to land further away and it landed right out the window. As long as it didn't land where you wanted it, you're not going to be chayiv. So therefore, even your original principle, that if you wanted to throw 8 and you threw 4, you're for sure chayiv because it's Shemi Shimon, is not true. If you wanted it to land there, you're not chayiv if it lands here. But you asked me, how come somebody writes Shem Shimon, he's chayiv? Nah, midami, there's no comparison. How do you write Shimon? Shin, Mem, Ayin, Vav, Nun. So you have to write Shin, Mem. So if you have to write Shin, Mem to get the Shin, Mem, Ayin, Vav, Nun, once you wrote Shin, Mem, you're chayiv. But Hocha, when you throw something and intend to throw something, 8 amas, Kamad Lezarik Arba Lemizdarkile Tmani, when you want to throw to 8, does it have to stop at 4? There's no stop at 4. It's a non-stop all the way to 8. So therefore, if it stops at 4, you are actually potter. So if you wanted to throw 8 and it stopped at 4, you're potter. It's not called Shem Shimon because the stop at 4 you didn't want. And if you wanted to throw 4 and you threw 8, you're not chayiv because you didn't want it to land there either. I'll just speak out a short piece. The Gemara says, first of all, we know there's a Havara Arba Amas B'Rishus Rabim. Reb Lazar holds that even if you carry Arba Amas B'Rishus Rabim L'Mala Mi'asara, you're chayiv. Why? Because this was the Masa B'nei Kahas. The Kahas carried stuff L'Mala Mi'asara T'vachim high. I'm repeating. Either they carried a Mizbeach, which was 10 amas high, so it was way over 10 T'vachim, or even if they carried the Oren, which was all of it 10 T'vachim high, the moment you lift it by the poles, it's already partially over 10 T'vachim high. The Rambam says that to be chayiv Arba Amas B'Rishus Rabim, you have to make an Akira B'Rishus Rabim, Maver Arba Amas B'Rishus Rabim, and the Hanocha B'Rishus Rabim. Taisvis disagrees, and he says that according to Reb Lazar, even if you make an Akira B'Rishus Hayachid, and you go through the Rishus Rabim, carrying it Lamala Mi'asar Tvachim, and then you end up in Rishus Hayachid, so the Akira was Rishus Hayachid A, and the Hanocha is Rishus Hayachid B, you're chayiv when you maver it through the Rishus Rabim Lamala Mi'asar Tvachim, because Sheken Masa B'nei Kahas. There is a Gemara in Sukkah, a Mishnah in Sukkah, that you're not supposed to carry lulav and esrog, you're not supposed to use lulav and esrog on Shabbos, Gzer Shema Yavirena Arba Amas B'Rishus Rabim. Rashi, Taisvis ask, why does the Iser Shema Yavirena Arba Amas B'Rishus Rabim, why don't you say Shema Yoitzi Ena B'Rishus Hayachid L'Rishus Rabim? So Rashi and Taisvis both answer, and Taisvis in one of his terutzim says, because you never might see a lulav and esrog B'Rishus Hayachid L'Rishus Rabim. You're taking it from your house, and you're taking it to the shul, or you're taking it from your house to the house of the Rav. So it's B'Rishus Hayachid L'Rishus Hayachid Derech Rishus Rabim. So it's not Maitzim B'Rishus Hayachid L'Rishus Rabim. And what is it? It's called Maver Arba Amas B'Rishus Rabim. So you see the Rashi holds like Taisvis. That your Maver B'Rishus Hayachid L'Rishus Derech Rishus Rabim, you're chai from Maver B'Rishus Rabim, even though you didn't make an Akira V'Anocha B'Rishus Rabim. Okay. Kol Tuv. Have a good evening. This was a big Daf Gemara. I hope I didn't go too fast. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Please give me some feedback. I don't need compliments. I only need criticism, because criticism helps me adjust to do it so that a way that everybody understands it. I've asked some people, they say they understand it. I'm assuming from the miyut, I also is the roiv. But if people have constructive ha'oros, I would like to hear, because I'll try to do better. Kol tiv, let's see each other again in good health.